Good morning, students. Today, in this lecture, we are going to do chapter 3 of Flamingo, Deep Water. It is a self-experience, a biographical experience of William Douglas. When he was just 3 or 4 years old, how he developed a phobia, a fear of water, and how he overcame it with his sheer determination and willpower. I have told you he was just a 3 or 4 year old, means it was his childhood experience. He had developed this terror of water. Or the writer means William Douglas had gone to California with his father. One day on the beach, the waves knocked the child down and swept over him. The child was terrified, but the father, who knew there was no harm, laughed. The experience bred a permanent fear of water in the child's subconscious mind. Still, another incident, more serious, increased his terror. The writer was trying to learn swimming in the YMCA swimming pool in Yakima. One day, while he was waiting for other boys, a big boy suddenly played a dangerous prank and pushed him into the water. The writer was terribly frightened as he was not much comfortable with swimming. He had not learnt it in a better way, so he went down into that 9 feet deep water of YMCA pool. When he reached the bottom, he jumped upward with all his strength. He came up, but very slowly. He tried to catch hold of something like rope, but grasped only at water. He was planning how he will come up like the lid of a bottle. He will come up on the surface. He will thrash the water with arms and legs and would reach the bank, and he will save himself, but it could not be possible in his pool. He tried to shout, but no sound came out. He went down again. His lungs ached, his head was throbbing, and he was growing dizzy. He was very much terrified. He felt paralyzed with fear, and all his limbs were paralyzed. Only the movement of his heart and the sound in the head was telling him that he was alive. Again, he tried to jump up, but this time his limbs would not move at all. He looked for ropes, ladders, water wings, but all in vain. Then he went down again, third time. 3 times he went towards the bottom of YMCA pool, and every time he was thinking over his strategy which he had made, that as soon as he touched the bottom of the pool, he would jump up himself, he would spring up and would come at the surface of the water. By using his arms and legs, he would save himself. Everything was in vain at this point. Then he went down again a third time. I was telling you this. This time all his efforts and fear ceased. Ceased means ended. He was moving towards peaceful death. The writer was in peace. He had become unconscious. When he came to his consciousness, he found himself lying on the side of the pool with the other boys nearby. The terror that he had experienced in the pool never left him. It haunted him for years and years to come. It spoiled many of his expeditions of canoeing, swimming, and fishing. He was fond of all water activities, but they could be possible only then if he is comfortable in swimming or in going near water. It spoiled his pleasure in many lakes, New Hampshire, Deschutes, Columbia, Bumping Lake. Wherever he went, he could not enjoy his water activities. But the writer was determined to conquer his terror. He took help of a swimming instructor to learn swimming. The instructor taught him various actions necessary in swimming part by part. He put his face under water and exhaled and inhaled, raising it above water. And he practiced it for several weeks. He had to kick with his legs a few weeks on the side of the pool. At last, he combined all these actions, all these exercises, and made the writer swim. He learned swimming, but the terror continued in his mind. So deep goes our childhood experiences, you can imagine. Once a child undergoes a bad experience, it leaves a deep impression which does not leave him till his old age or his young age. Hence, forward, the writer tried to terrorize the terror itself. How? He tried to face the new challenge, and whenever terror came, he confronted it by asking it sarcastically as to what it can really do to him. He plunged into water and as if to defy the fear. He wanted to defeat it, and once he took courage, the terror vanquished, and he faced the challenge deliberately in various places like the warm lake. He conquered it at last, and he was quite happy. He shouted very badly at the top of his voice that he had overcome the fear of water like Doc Corcoran, a champion in swimming, and his echo could be heard in the Gilbert Peak. And at last he made a statement which was given by Roosevelt, Mr. Roosevelt. What he said, all we have to fear is fear itself. The fear is a feeling which comes into our mind, and if we allow it to enter our mind, so it will always terrorize us. Now it depends on us how we tackle the fear. Mr. Douglas gave and took many tests of himself. He did this practice till his last moment, and he became a good swimmer, and finally he overcame this fear of water. Students, I hope that you must have understood the briefing of this chapter, and I am sending a few questions. Try to find out them and do it in your notebook. Go through the chapter, underline the things, and if you find any difficulty, you can ask me.